Good morning, students. This is Ramesh sir. Today we will start third semester chemistry paper. So this paper contains inorganic and organic chemistry. This syllabus overall containing 5 units. 2 units from inorganic chemistry and 3 units from organic chemistry. So today we will discuss outline of our syllabus. Okay, so in this third semester chemistry is a very huge syllabus. It is very difficult because of in organic chemistry having 3 units. So it is very important chemistry because organic chemistry covered all functional groups like halogen, hydroxy compounds, carbonyl compounds, carboxylic acids and esters. So here overall are almost organic chemistry covered in third semester examination. So this paper is very tough comparison remaining semester examination chemistry papers. So now we will discuss inorganic chemistry unit 1 and unit 3. Unit 2, chemistry of D block elements. What is D block elements? D block elements means an outermost electron or valency electron present at d orbitals are called as a D block element. The D block elements possess some properties like ionization enthalpy, like oxidation state means valencies, magnetic properties, catalytic properties, ability to form complex, like that. So it is very important chemistry. So here first, before going to D block, we will know that the electronic configuration of D block elements, 3D series and 4D series and 5D series. D block can be divided into 3 series: 3D or first series, 4D or second series, 5D or third series. 3D series means scandium to zinc. 3D series. 4D series yttrium to cadmium. 4D. 5D lanthanum to mercury. 5D. So here D block elements are also called as a transition elements. What is transition element? Transition elements are containing unpaired electrons. So unpaired electron means scandium. For example, scandium Sc, atomic number 21, electronic configuration argon means 18. 3d1 4s2. Here d orbital, how many electrons are present? Only one electron. So unpaired electrons containing compounds are called as a transition elements. So all D block elements are transition elements or not? So except zinc, cadmium, mercury, those are not transition elements because those compounds, those elements doesn't containing unpaired electrons. For example, zinc 3d10 4s2, argon 3d10 4s2, no unpaired electron. cadmium, krypton, 4d10, 5s2, 5s2, that is transition element. So next, that is not transition element. Mercury. So mercury, Hg. So xenon, 5d10, 6s2. In zinc, cadmium, mercury, all are having d10s2. So there is no unpaired electrons. So those are not a transition elements, those are d block elements. So all d block elements are not transition elements, but all transition elements are d block elements. It is very, very important point of examination point of view, or competitive examination or theoretical examination. So next, very important, properties. Variable valencies. What is valency? Valency nothing but a oxidation state. So oxidation state means d block elements possess different oxidation state. Variable oxidation, manganese +2, manganese +5, manganese +7. These elements shows different oxidation. So next, remaining elements also showing same different oxidation state. Titanium 3+ and titanium 4+. In d block elements, which element possesses highest oxidation state? Very, very important. Which element possesses highest oxidation state? The element is ruthenium. Ruthenium means Ru, and osmium. Ruthenium tetroxide, osmium tetroxide. Here one oxygen having -2. Generally one oxygen containing -2 oxidation state, -24, -8. So -8 is neutralized by +8. Here -8, +8. Ruthenium and osmium both are d block elements. Okay. Ruthenium is the 5d series. 5d series. Sorry, 4d series. Ruthenium is the 4d series. Osmium is the 5d series. 5d series. So those are the oxidation state. Next, magnetic property. D block elements are exhibited magnetic properties. Magnetic properties are three types. One is paramagnetic, para. Second, dia. Third, ferro. What is paramagnetic? It is very simple. An element containing unpaired electrons are called as a paramagnetic property. Element containing unpaired electron. For example, scandium 3d1 4s2, argon 3d1 4s2, one unpaired electron. It is paramagnetic. For example, manganese +2. Manganese only means manganese 3d5 4s2. Only manganese is 3d5 4s2. Argon 3d5 4s2. +2 means loss of 2 electrons. Loss of 2. Here having d5. d5 means having unpaired electrons. But here highest number of unpaired electrons. In d orbital containing 5 unpaired electrons. So more number of unpaired electrons are possess ferromagnetic property. More number of unpaired electrons possess ferromagnetic property. Next, what is diamagnetic property? Diamagnetic property means it is very simple. The paired electrons possess, the paired electron element possess diamagnetic. For example, zinc. Zinc is 3d10 4s2. Next cadmium, mercury, all are d10s2. Cadmium 4d10 5s2, mercury 5d10 6s2. So all are d10s2 filled electrons. Those are diamagnetic property. So it is very simple. So catalytic property, very important. In industries, various d block elements are used as a catalyst. But what is catalyst? Catalyst is not involved in the reaction, but it enhances the rate of reaction, is called as a catalyst. So in d block element, nickel used as a catalyst. In hydrogenation of oils, nickel used as a catalyst. And remaining some processes, V2O5, vanadium pentoxide used as a catalyst, and MnO2 used as a catalyst in industries. So nickel, vanadium, manganese used as a catalyst. In Haber process, preparation of ammonia, iron used as a ferrous used as a catalyst. So d block elements are act as a catalyst because of free surface area. So it can easily absorb the reactant on the surface. So next property is, so catalytic property, ability to form complex. What is ability to form complex? Complex means it is nothing but a the bond between the metal and ligand is called as a complex. The metal and ligand. For example, metal, titanium is a metal, ligand is a water. How many ligands? 6 ligands. TiH2O6 3+. So titanium is metal atom. So this is ligand having lone pair of electrons. So pair of electrons donated to the metal atom. This pair of electrons donate to the central metal atom. So it form a complex, titanium H2O6 3+. It is called as a complex. Next, very simple complex, nickel tetracarbonyl. Here nickel is central metal atom. Cobalt carbonyl is ligand. This ligand donates the pair of electrons to the nickel atom. It form a complex. Why d block elements are transition elements possessing complex properties? Because of d block elements are having vacant d orbitals. For example, titanium 3d to 4s2, remaining 3 are vacant orbitals. These 3 vacant orbitals are filled by ligand donated electrons. For example, H2O6. H2O6. This ligand donates the electrons to the vacant orbitals. So actually we are discussing now just syllabus point of view. Later we can discuss very deep what is coordination compound, how complex is formed, what is ligand, how many types of ligands, how the EAN calculated, how calculated magnetic momentum, how d block element shows color properties, like that we can show. Just we are discussing now simple properties. So these are the d block elements. Next, theories and bonding metals. Metallic, very simple. Theories in bonding metals means metal properties. Metal showing some properties means electropositive in nature. Metals having a free surface area. It can used as a seats. Next, metals are having low ionization potential. Next, by using theories of bonding in metals, valency bond theory, free electron theory. So So many theories are available. Next, very important explanation of thermal and electrical conductivity. Thermal electrical conductivity of metals are having free electrons. Free electrons always rotate, migrate in all directions. Because of rotation of electrons or moving of electrons, passes of some electrical conductivity. So next, band theory. Next, formation of bands, explanation of conductor, semiconductor, and next, what is conductor, what is semiconductor, what is insulator. Conductor means those are the passes electrons, passes electricity. Semiconductor also, it can pass the electricity. So insulators are not passing electricity. In insulators there is no moving free electrons. So this is the unit 1 second topic. Later we will discuss about next, metal carbonyls. What is metal carbonyls? Metal carbonyls are very simple metal and carbonyls. The compounds containing metal and carbonyls, those are called metal carbonyls. For example, nickel, CO4, nickel tetracarbonate. This is the metal carbonate. CrCO6, chromium hexacarbonate. Iron pentacarbonate. Those are the pentacarbonate. Those are the metal carbonates. So here very important shape. For example, nickel tetracarbonate shape, tetrahedral. How to calculate EAN rule for metal carbonates? EAN rule, very simple, effective atomic number. For example, here I will discuss only one example, nickel tetracarbonyl. Here nickel atomic number 28. 28 means argon 3d8 4s2 3d, argon is 18 plus 2 20, here 8 28, argon 18 4s2 2 20 3d8, yes 8 28. Here valence electrons 8 plus 2 10. So nickel having how many valence? 10 valence. One carbonyl donate 2 electrons. One carbonyl donate 2 electrons. Overall 4 carbonyls. 4 into 2 8. 10 plus 8. According to effective atomic number rule, so any complex, any metal carbonyl having 18 electron obeys the 18 electron rule, that complex is very highly stable, very stable. According to AN rule, any metal carbonyl obeys 18 electron rule, it is very highly stable. So those are the AN rule. Next, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, and nickel metal, nickel and metal nitrosyls. Metal nitrosyls, metal and NO. Metal and NO are called metal nitrosyl. Metal and carbonyl are called metal carbonyls. So nitrosyl also ligand, carbonyl also ligand. So next, metal carbonyl, chemistry of F block elements. It is nothing but a D block elements. It is nothing but a, so it look like as a D block elements, means it look like as a D block elements, but not showed similar properties of D block elements. See here, F block elements. So chemistry of lanthanides, electronic structure, oxidation state, lanthanide contraction, very important. Already all of you studied in plus 1 plus 2 level. So next, magnetic properties, calculation of G value, Cerium 3 plus, chemistry of actinides, electronic configuration, oxidation state, comparison of lanthanides and actinides, separation of lanthanides by ion exchange method and solvent extraction method, very important. Separation of lanthanide, ion exchange method and solvent extraction. What is ion exchange method and solvent extraction? Both are separation of lanthanides. For example, I have given mixture of lanthanides, means cerium, praseodymium, iodium, promethium, gadolinium. So many mixture of lanthanides I have given, but you need only one lanthanide. It can be easily removed. For example, you need to remove cerium 3 plus from mixture of lanthanides. So in mixture containing 10 lanthanides, but you need one lanthanide separation by using two methods: ion exchange method and solvent extraction method. And here very important, lanthanide contraction and some Bloch elements showing different oxidation state. So next one is Bloch elements also possess magnetic properties because of in f orbitals containing unpaired electrons. So those unpaired electrons exhibits magnetic property and colored property also. So this is the lanthanide. Lanthanides can be divided into two types. One is 4F and 5F. 4F and 5F series. Later we will discuss about this topic. Now we discuss about only for syllabus point of view. This is the organic chemistry point of view. Next, halogen compounds. Very important in organic chemistry. Here all functional groups are covered. So what is halogen compound? The compound containing halogen and carbon is called as a halogen compound. Very simple. The compound containing halogen and carbon is called as a halogen compound. Halogens are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, any one. So here CH3 and R equal to CH3Cl. This is methyl chloride. According to IUPAC, first we will write here chloromethane. CH3CH2Cl, chloroethane, that is IUPAC nomenclature. So this is the IUPAC nomenclature of halogen compounds. Halogen compounds containing halogen and carbon. So next, classification of alkyl: primary, secondary, tertiary. Before we discussed in first or second semester examination. So what is primary? Primary means it is very simple. Carbon is bonded with another carbon. For example, this carbon is bonded with another carbon. This is called as a primary. For example, this carbon is bonded with two carbons is called as secondary. For example, this carbon is bonded with three carbons is called as a tertiary. This is primary, secondary, tertiary. So for example, primary. Now example of primary: CH3, CH2, Cl. This carbon is binding with one carbon. This is primary. Primary carbon containing halogens. This is chlorine. Primary carbon containing halogen. So it is called primary halogen compound. So okay. Next, secondary halogen. Secondary means CH3, CH, CH3, Cl. This carbon is containing two carbons, so called as secondary carbon. Secondary carbon directly attached to chlorine, secondary halogen compound. So instead of one hydrogen, I am writing here one methyl group. This carbon containing 1, 2, 3. So it is called as a tertiary. Tertiary carbon directly attached with chlorine, tertiary halogen compound. So primary, secondary, tertiary. So next, what is aryl? What is allyl? Aryl means nothing but benzene nucleus. For example, chlorobenzene. This is aryl halide, chlorine halide or halogen. So aryl halide. So next, what is allyl? Allyl means very simple. So allyl means this is, for example, CH2 double bond CH2 is ethylene. Instead of one hydrogen, I can write another CH2. I can write another CH2. Okay. CH2 double bond CH, single bond CH2. So double bonded carbon, this is the double bonded carbon, is directly attached with carbon, is called as a allyl carbon. Once again, what is allyl carbon? It's very simple. CH2 double bond CH2. Instead of one hydrogen, I can write another CH2. Those are the unsaturated CH2 double bond CH. This carbon is allyl carbon. This carbon is allyl carbon. This carbon containing halogen, allyl halides. Allyl halides. Next, benzyl halides. Benzyl halides also very easy. We are having benzene containing CH3. It called as a toluene. Toluene. So instead of removal of one hydrogen, it can be CH3 converted to CH2. Now Cl. This is benzyl chloride. Overall, this part is benzene and CH2 group is benzyl chloride. Benzyl chloride. So this is the classification of benzyl halides. So in examination, nucleophilic aliphatic substitution reaction. Nucleophilic aliphatic substitution reaction. Very important, very in examination, theoretical and competitive examination. Already you know that what is SN1. SN1 means unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. SN2 bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. That is SN1 and SN2 reaction. Already we know that what is nucleophile. Electron rich species are called as a nucleophile. For example, OH having 2 lone pair of electrons, it is nucleophile. NH3 having lone pair of electron, it is a nucleophile. Water H2O, nucleophile. This nucleophile always donates electrons to the electropositive carbons. Why? Positive means electron deficient. These need lone pair of electrons. So these nucleophiles donates electrons to the positive charge, bonding with carbon and NH3. So like that. So those are the nucleophiles. Nucleophiles' role is always donates the electron pair to the electropositive carbon centers. Those are the nucleophiles. Here very important, SN1 reaction is formation of racemic mixture. In SN1 is formation of racemic mixture. SN2 is Walden inversion. But we need to know about after starting the halogen compounds class. So here we don't need to explanation of SN1 and SN2 because of this is the very huge topic. So later we will discuss about. So those are the organic chemistry of halogen compounds. Next, what is hydroxy compounds? So later next class I will discuss what is hydroxy compounds, how many types of hydroxy compounds, means primary, secondary, tertiary hydroxy compounds, alcohols and phenols. So what is alcohol and phenol? So like that we will explain. And next, properties, physical properties of hydrogen bonding. So physical properties of hydrogen bonding. Next, chemical properties of alcohols, dehydration and oxidation of alcohols, CrO3 and KMnO4 we can discuss about later. So very important, third semester chemistry syllabus is very huge and very difficult. So all of you must carefully read. So the syllabus is very high, 5 units. So today we discussed only nearly 2.5 units we will discuss today. and later we will discuss hydroxy compounds and carbonyl compounds. Unit 4, Unit 5, carboxylic acid derivatives, active methylene compounds. Very big lessons. So all of you write your syllabus in your notes and properly read the syllabus also. After another class I will finish overall syllabus outlines. Next first we will start with inorganic chemistry, because inorganic chemistry is very easiest topic comparing with organic chemistry. So we will start with the easiest topic, that is, so D block, chemistry of D block element we will start. So later we will go for organic chemistry. So organic chemistry is very easy if you understand, otherwise it's very difficult. So all of you must learn basics. What is halogen, what is hydroxy compounds, what is carbonyl, aldehyde and ketone carbonyl, what is carboxylic acid, all are functional groups. You have to learn basic things first. What is primary, what is secondary, what is tertiary, what is electrophile, what is nucleophile. If you know the basics of organic chemistry, then you can understand very easy, otherwise it's very difficult to understanding. So I can explain very easily organic chemistry, no need to worry about that, students. So I need to start with easiest topic, that is chemistry of D block elements. Later we will go for organic chemistry. Okay, all of you must write your syllabus in your notes. Later I will give the PDF to your PDF to send in group WhatsApp. No need to worry about chemistry. Okay, all of you, okay, best of luck. Okay.